Welcome to an all-new edition of the Weekend Box Office Report for June 18th to the 20th, 2010. As followed are the weekend estimates. In number 1, we have Toy Story 3 opening up with $109 million and a per-screen average of $27,000. This was the largest opening in Pixar's history, but it ranks the same in terms of attendance to past hits Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles. Did you think Toy Story was going to open this high?
Yeah, it did about what I thought it would do. I guessed it would possibly do into the triple digits, and it didn't. It is a really strong film. It's really good. The one thing about it that I think that's going to hurt it is that the 3D really it does nothing more than add depth to it. It doesn't have any of those Shrek or Dragon where it actually suits to 3D like Avatar did.
Only 60% of the weekend gross came from the IMAX and 3D screenings, so it might go to prove your point there. As well, they only think that $20 million was added to this gross through inflated 3D ticket pricing. In second place, we have The Karate Kid with $29 million. Its total now stands at $106 million. While it had a steep 47% decline from last weekend, its second weekend total is about what the first weekend estimates were. Did you think this was going to hit $100 million so quickly?
I don't think anyone had any idea that in the second weekend this would go triple digits, but good for them. They made something that obviously is appealing to a lot of people, and even at well over 2 hours, it's still selling.
I don't think this will hit $200 million as some industry insiders had predicted after that first weekend, but I do think this has a chance at 170 to 180 and a solid hit and one of the biggest surprises of the summer.
And at number 3, we have the A-Team with $13.7 million and about the same drop as Karate Kid. And its total now is just about $50 million. What do you think the chances are of this movie actually getting into triple digits?
I say slim to none at this point. That's a steep second weekend decline. I haven't heard a lot of positive word of mouth on this film, and it's just kind of withering away. Luckily, it's the only pure action film in the market right now. I think this dies at 80 to 90 million.
Some things have had surprising legs, so it's possible that it's up there to those triple digits.
It's going to take a strong foreign run for the A-Team to recoup its $110 million plus marketing budget.
And at number 4, we have Get 'Em to the Greek, earning $6.1 million for a grand total of $47 million, which is exactly right on track where what we said that movie would do, about $50-60 million.
It had the smallest decline percentage week-to-week drop from last weekend in the top 5. Audiences are getting out there. It's the only pure comedy in the market right now. And like we said before, it's right in line with other films in this genre. Rounding out the top 5, we have Shrek Forever After, which took a big 65% dip because of the Toy Story release, coming in with $5.5 million. Its total now stands at $212 million. It has finally outgrossed How to Train Your Dragon, but this is going to fade out real quick now that Toy Story is in the market.
I had my doubts that it would be as big as people had thought it would be. I mean, $222 million gross isn't anything to really talk bad about, but certainly for what they expected it to do, it's nowhere near what they had thought.
Opening outside the top 5 was Jonah Hex with a small $5 million and an $1,800 per screen average. How do you feel about the opening of Jonah Hex?
I think it's great. I mean, if you want to go to a movie theater and be alone to watch a movie, go see Jonah Hex.
We have 2 big films opening this week. On a Wednesday launch, we have Night and Day, the Tom Cruise film, and Grown Ups, the Adam Sandler film, opening on Friday, the 25th. Night and Day will have a Wednesday gross of around $12 million, leading with $25 million by the time it hits Friday. By the end of the 5-day weekend, I see a 50 to 60 million gross, as well as Sandler's film opening up in the high 40s to low 50s. So expect a large weekend box office this next week. What do you feel about the chances of these films?
I think this is going to be a pretty big weekend. I mean, Night and Day starting out on Wednesday, and I think it's going to have a strong lead-in just about what you said. And this is also Tom Cruise and Adam Sandler, 2 big names who can really bring in crowds still. It's going to be a big weekend.
Last time Cruise had a film opening out, Valkyrie, was on the same weekend as Adam Sandler's film, Bedtime Stories, and Sandler's film grossed much more. This is Sandler right back in his wheelhouse, and it's going to be tough for Night and Day to come out with the number 1 position on this. Well, the stars are out next weekend. Come back and check if our box office predictions prove true. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.